Welcome to SportsBeat KC, the Kansas City Star's daily sports podcast. It's Monday, August 9th, and I'm Blair Kerkhoff. As we were putting together today's show on Missouri football, which opened practice a few days ago, another Mizzou story happened. The university named Desiree Reed-Francois as the new athletic director, replacing Jim Sterk. Reed-Francois comes from UNLV, where she had run the athletic program since 2017, and before then had worked at Virginia Tech, Tennessee, and several other programs. She's considered a rising star in the profession, and she's Missouri's first woman athletic director. The Tigers will introduce Reed-Francois at a news conference sometime in the next couple of days, and we'll get to know her a little better then. So, that piece of news and the opening of fall camp are the topics discussed with Briar Napier, who spent the summer covering Missouri and other sports for the Star as an intern. After a break, you'll hear from head coach Eli Drinkwitz and defensive coordinator Steve Wilks, who met with reporters as camp opened. So let's get started talking with Briar Napier. We're recording this on Sunday afternoon and was hoping just to get a jump on the Monday podcast. And I really didn't expect news to come from Columbia today, but lo and behold, we have news to talk about, fresh news. And that is Missouri has announced its new athletic director, Desiree Reed-Francois. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, has been selected by the Board of Curators and the search firm to replace Jim Sterk, who kind of by mutual agreement left his post last month. So interesting, first female to hold the post at Mizzou, and she comes highly credentialed. She comes from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where she spent the last 5 years as the athletic director there. Before that, Virginia Tech and Tennessee, Cincinnati, a lot of college or California schools in athletic administration. She's 49 years old. All right, Briar, what did I miss? What do we need to know about Desiree Reed-Francois?
Well, the main takeaway I saw from her when I was doing some backgrounding on her, and once word started coming out that she was going to be the next in line, is that she looks highly credentialed. She's very, very much someone who has been in college athletics for a long time. And like you mentioned, like a boatload of California schools, and leading day-to-day operations or being deputy AD or associate AD at high major Power 5 programs. And she had just done, she had been the athletic director at UNLV for since 2017 and had overseen 2 men's basketball hires and a football head coach hire. So she has experience on that front. Had experience building a $35 million football practice facility there. She's overseeing UNLV football, playing in the Las Vegas Raiders' new stadium, Allegiant Stadium, state of the art there. Like I said, a lot of fundraising. I think it was $70 million since 2018, I believe the figure was on UNLV. So yeah, it's very much someone who is highly experienced. Been around the bend in college athletics for a long time, and looks on the face of it to be a solid hire. When
Sterk stepped down, the initial thought was Missouri was going to go after an existing Power 5 conference athletic director, and no doubt that there had to be some that were interested in the job. I know the TCU's athletic director was approached last week. We know that from our friend Drew Davison at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. She is not coming from a Power 5 conference school, but as we've mentioned, she has experience, administrative experience at Virginia Tech, at Tennessee. At Virginia Tech, she oversaw football. That was part of her duties, at football loving Virginia Tech. And at Tennessee, she was part of the selection committee that helped hire Conzo Martin to become the Vols head coach there. So it's not like, even though her background does not, there's no Missouri in her background, she is absolutely familiar with some of the she's going to be familiar with some of the personnel at Mizzou. So, good for Missouri to get this done, getting it done quickly, too. I mean, this is just a matter of weeks. I wasn't sure how long I expected it to take, but it occurs to me that they identified the person they really wanted for the job and went after it in a big way. You know, she was just given a contract extension at UNLV back in April, so she was going to be there. She was tied up for until 2026. We don't have the figures for what she's going to make at Mizzou, but let's suffice to say it's going to be more than the $420,000 annually she was receiving at in Las Vegas. So best of luck to Desiree Reed-Francois, and looking forward to meeting her at the introductory news conference when that occurs. All right, Briar, let's switch and talk a little bit about football. Practice has started at Missouri, and you were at the first couple of media availabilities for the Tigers. Eli Drinkwitz spoke both times, and I think from the original media availability, we got a lot of the kind of stuff that you get from those types, and we will actually play that after a break. We'll have Eli Drinkwitz in his first media availability for you, but it was his second one that I thought was pretty interesting when he kind of cracked the whip on his team. Tell us about what he said in his second media availability.
Yeah, Eli, he was not a happy camper following the first practice. He was very, very critical about what he thought was a lack of energy. He stated that he thought he was thinking that his players thought that he was going to be the one to bring the energy, and he just didn't get it from his players, didn't get reciprocated back. Had a very striking quote that I heard that he says, like, we're a 5-5 football team with people returning, and if we don't improve on a lot of things, we're going to remain a 5-5 football team. So yeah, he was obviously super, super critical, and it was very much like, and even when we were trying to like ask him of hey, like certain players, they impressed you today, or he was not in the mood to be complimentary. So it was very much probably kick up the rear, trying to get them to respond. And so we'll see. His next availability is tomorrow. The next open practice is tomorrow, which I'll be there and I'll have coverage on. So we'll see if his mood has improved, or the team has helped his mood to improve, has done something to make him happier and make him a little more complimentary.
Yeah. Now, of course, tomorrow in podcast years is actually today, since we're posting this on Monday, and you're heading out there.
You're right. Yes.
Today, I'll read you a couple of quotes from your story. I thought it was really interesting. This is from Eli Drinkwitz. Glad you weren't out there for the conversation afterwards. We've got a lot of work to do. I don't know if we need to crown anybody anything right now. We're a 5-5 football team with a lot of guys coming back, and unless we make a lot of improvements, we're a 5-5 football team. Didn't really like the energy today. I don't know if they expected me to carry the day with energy, but we didn't have it. We have got to improve. That is a classic case of a coach speaking to his team through the media, and I imagine they got the message. And when you see them work out again, or the next time Coach Drinkwitz talks about it, I will guarantee you energy will have improved.
We shall see. We shall see tomorrow. There's not a lot you can tell, like, tactically in these practices from at least sections that are open to media. But yeah, I'll keep an eye out to see if players are louder, or if they're more receptive to the things the coaches do. So that's something you can tell. And then, but ultimately, it'll be whenever Eli talks to us whether he's pleased or not, which, who knows? We'll see that. We'll see what comes around Monday. So today in podcast time.
Okay. How about some quick first impressions of Missouri? I know you don't get to see much of practice, but just from what you know, who's coming back, and what are the strengths they can play to, and what are the weaknesses they need to address here in fall camp?
So on Thursday, so the day before the first practice on Friday, we spoke with a lot of members of the offense and the defense. Just a nice little media roundtable that was nice to have in person even, which was a nice welcome change from the past year and a half or so. And especially on the defense, the biggest takeaway I had was this was a really, really intelligent group. And not just like the returners, but a lot of the new transfers. You have the two Tulsa cornerback transfers, Caleb Evans and Allie Green. And then the linebacker transfer from Rice, Blaze Aldridge. Those are some of the main ones, and they were very intelligent, and which is good traits to have because they're going to have a new defensive coordinator, and Steve Wilks, who former NFL head coach, and talking with players, he's talked about wanting to instill an NFL style he's instilling like NFL terminology, and he's wanting to run a 2 linebacker set rather than the 3 linebacker set that old defensive coordinator Ryan Walters wanted to run with. And they seem to have, when I asked like specifics about this formation, they seem to have understood and already gotten a decent grasp on what's going on. So there's that. I think the defense is really, really smart and knowledgeable in what they're being taught. As for the offense, it's Connor Bazelak year 2. Obviously had his SEC Freshman of the Year season, though did have a few growing pains, but showed some promise. Redshirt sophomore season now is going to have some opportunity to improve. Tyler Beatty at running back has gained 10 to 12 pounds of muscle, so really preparation for the bell cow back. Receivers have some added speed. Ohio State transfer Mookie Cooper and 4-star freshman Dominic Levet. So that could open up some lanes for returning possession guys like Kiki Chisholm, Rotowski Dove, Boo Smith, things like that. As for the O-line might be one of the bigger question marks. The interior of the line is good. Mike Maietti at center, second team All-SEC, starting his 5th year of Major college football, dating back to his time at Rutgers. It's the tackles, which are really a big question mark. Those are being decided right now in camp, and it remains to be seen there could be realistically like 5 or 6 guys who could start there, and it could change throughout the year. So we'll see on that front. And so, from what I can tell so far, I mean, there are some, like any team, there are some positives and there are some question marks in there. So interesting to see leading up to next month's opener against Central Michigan.
All right, good thumbnail. I appreciate that. Like I said, after a break, we're going to hear from Eli Drinkwitz. Might even have another voice. We'll see. But I wanted to take this opportunity, Briar, to bid you farewell and good luck, because not only is this the last time you will appear on the podcast as a Kansas City Star intern, I can't vouch for you. I can see you appearing on this podcast later as wherever you work. But as the Kansas City Star intern, this is your last appearance. We've really enjoyed having you and Cora Hall this year, especially your soccer knowledge. It's been a lot of fun talking to you about that, and I hope it hasn't been too painful for you to weigh in and join the podcast. So best of luck in everything that you do.
Thank you, Blair. It's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. Both doing Mizzou stuff and this summer of soccer that we've done with Sporting, NWSL, Gold Cup, all that stuff. So KC Star is a paper I've always had respect for, and I've always enjoyed the camaraderie here and the people around it. So for those of you listening and who read the Star, thank you, and we appreciate you, and I appreciate you for reading. So it's been really humbling. So thank you.
Hey, it's Blair. We have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners, unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Star's award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns presented on the kansascity.com site, and it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. Your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of KansasCity.com and the Kansas City Star, and that support has never been more important. Please visit KansasCity.com/SportsBeat KC offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening.
What do y'all got?
Eli, just how much more of a feeling of comfort and readiness is it than last year at this time?
Yeah, I mean, at least we have an idea of who everybody is and where they kind of fit in the pieces that they fit, and now it's just about bringing them together and how good we can be, and we got a long way to go after that practice.
I think you talked in the spring about wanting Connor to maybe take some risks, do some things he wouldn't normally do in a game. Is this kind of the same mindset here in fall camp, or is it a little bit different now?
We just want him to be a smart, disciplined decision maker. Smart, not conservative. When the play's there, make it. When it's not there, take your check down. I think he did a nice job today in the pocket. Didn't force anything, but then put some throws where he needed to. So there was some growth there. It's just day one, so we'll see that over the we only had I think 20 team reps today, so there wasn't a lot of opportunities.
You talked yesterday about just having more recognition now for various defenses. How does kind of him having the mental side and that experience, how does that open things up for you as a play caller?
Yeah, first off, congratulations to your sister on the medal. I mean, it's all about what he can handle and what we feel comfortable in with him, executing. It always comes down to execution, and now that he's getting the bulk of the one reps, we can start the install a lot faster than we did last year.
Eli, you talked about how this team's strengths can be a line of scrimmage, just as far as your experience there, I guess. Is it a big upgrade from a year ago, do you feel like, when you look at what you have right now, or still a lot of things to figure out?
We got a lot of work to do. I don't know if we need to crown anybody anything right now. I mean, we're a 5-5 football team with a lot of guys coming back. I mean, unless we make a lot of improvements, we're a 5-5 football team. So we got a lot of work to do. Didn't really like the energy today. I don't know if they expected me to carry the day with the energy, but we didn't have it, and we got to improve. We got to change the way that we got to practice with more urgency. We got to have more energy, and today was just kind of a blah day. So, I don't know about returning starters, not returning starters. We got a lot of work to do.
Kind of carrying on that, what would you like to see from these guys to see that energy that you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, they got to bring it. Energy is the key to our success, and they got to come out here with an enthusiasm to play football. I mean, these are the best days of their lives. You get to play college football at the University of Missouri. You got the University of Missouri across your chest. You get to represent your name on the back and make NIL off of it. I mean, if you can't get excited about that, something's wrong. So we got to be much better. I don't know if they, we've been reading Twitter or excited about something. I mean, we got to bring our own energy, and we didn't do that today.
Eli, looks like Tyler Beatty's bulked up a little bit. What does a slightly bigger Tyler Beatty do for this offense?
I mean, I don't know if it's slightly bigger or slightly littler. Tyler Beatty's just got to be himself, just like all the players have to be. They got to be the best versions of themselves, and whether he's bigger or smaller doesn't matter. He's just got to be the best version of himself. He's got to be able to carry the football when we need him to between the tackles, and he's got to be an advantage player for us on the perimeter.
Eli, I know the plan for the offensive line is best 5 regardless of position. What are the advantages of doing that rather than each guy having a position?
Well, it gives you your best, if somebody gets injured, you get your 5 best players on the field instead of, your second right tackle, maybe your 10th best player. So you got to be able to have people play multiple positions. It's called position flexibility, and Coach Johnson is a tremendous teacher and coacher, and that's something he believes in, something we all believe in.
Eli, when you talk about upping the energy, is that a message that needs to come from the coaching staff, or would you like
everybody?
To come from
Me, coaches, managers, support staff, players, the whole thing today. We didn't bring our best stuff, and you can't waste days. You cannot waste days. They're not pushing back the season we only got a few practices left. I think we're down to 27 now, so we got to get going. Or maybe it's 24. You get 25 practices, right? So it's 24. We got 24 left, so can't waste opportunities.
Do you think that's something that they're aware of, especially after today's practice, that they need to bring more energy then?
Glad y'all weren't out there for the conversation afterwards. I think they're plenty aware.
Is this an opportunity then for players that may be on the periphery of the squad to really step up and cement a place for the team?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a chance to embrace their role and define their role. there's paper, which has depth charts written in, and then there's performance. And performance dictates who gets to play. We don't play favorites. We don't play stars. We don't play seniors. We play the best 11 players that give us a chance to win versus Central Michigan. And everybody's got an equal opportunity to establish that. And, that's what we're working to do.
Last time we talked to you, it was kind of hypothetical, but just your thoughts about at some point the SEC is going to look a little bit different than it did in your first year, and the two teams that are in it now.
Yeah, I appreciate there's a lot of interest on that. That has nothing to do with what I'm trying to accomplish right now and what we're trying to do. So that's a better conversation when they actually decide when they're going to join the league.
What were your first impressions of the two new quarters from Tulsa and just how they look today?
They didn't have numbers. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know.
Last time we talked to you, you said you were hoping to get to that 85% vaccinated threshold by the start of camp. Are you there?
We don't hope around here, man. We expect. We'll be there.
What can you say about the progress? Steve Wilks has made with this defense so far. I know it's just fall camp, but what about his progress?
We got a long way to go. Today was day one. We don't have pads on, so I think they've done a really good job of identifying the scheme and understanding the scheme, and then you come out here and practice, and it's one thing to put it on a whiteboard, and it's a totally different thing when 22 other people or 21 other people are moving around. That's what makes football so complicated, is it draws up nice on paper, but then there's moving parts, and so I think they're going to have to work, figure out who's the guys working together, build that chemistry and camaraderie, and that's again goes back to why you can't waste a day, why you can't have bad days, bad energy, and not at your peak performance.
I think you still really have to focus on the fundamentals and technique. I think the guys have done a great job in really learning the scheme. We've been able to add layers throughout post-spring practice as well as throughout the summer. So I think the guys got a nice grasp of the scheme, but we can never get away from the fundamentals and technique.
Just what's your overall feeling with the defense heading into the season?
I'm excited. I think the guys have done a great job. Coach Russell and his staff for just getting these guys in shape. Really having a full off season this year, I think has been important for us. With COVID hitting last year, not having the opportunity to really build that foundation, it's been great. And the guys have really been taking accountability and responsibility on their own, being responsible for what's going out even on the weekends and just doing their own walkthrough. So I'm excited about where we are.
How's Blaze Aldridge kind of adjusted? Do you think he could be a guy that fills Nick Bolton's shoes? I know that's some tough shoes to follow.
Of course, you're talking about a good football player that got drafted in the second round. So I'm hoping he lives up to those expectations. He's doing a great job now. Extremely smart. He's picked up the defense. He works hard. You're seeing his day-to-day process and development and growth each day. So we'll see exactly where it goes.
Steve, how much of adjustment is there going from NFL-style training camps to a college camp? Obviously, there's no preseason games. So just how different is that for you, just preparation-wise?
I think you still take the same approach. You wish you had those preseason games to try to work out some kinks and really see yourself against live competition or someone else. But, we'll create those different scenarios and whatnot throughout training camp. Coach Drink does a great job of that. So putting the pads on, being physical, setting the tone is going to be our mindset this summer.
Coach Drinkwitz said at media days that the defensive line needs to be the strength of the team. Just what have you seen from that group so far this offseason?
A lot, and you have to understand, my mindset has always been that way. Wherever I coach, within this system, it all starts up front. Coming off the ball, creating a new line of scrimmage. I don't care how great you are on the perimeter. If you don't have guys getting to the quarterback, it doesn't really matter. So I like where we are. I like our rotation. Darius Robinson, Akil Byers, those guys that stepped up and performed well. You're looking at some of the young guys that has come in, Montgomery, Wingo, all those guys I think are going to be able to help us at some point in time, particularly the young guys. So Kobe's back this year, from a standpoint of being out most of the spring. This guy's had a tremendous summer. I love the way he's moving around right now. So Coach Drink is right. Our strength is going to be up front, and looking forward to those guys setting the tone for us.
Green and Evans, I mean, how much have they had to elevate their game, if at all? You were talking about going.
Say it one more time with the names.
Green and Evans, from an AAC level to an SEC level, how much have they had to elevate, and how important are they to the overall scheme?
I don't really think it's so much trying to elevate. To be quite honest, I think they have taken level of competition and how guys approach things to another level, and with them coming here, because the intensity on the defensive side of the ball, particularly in the defensive back room, has picked up. Competition is everything. So those guys do a great job each and every day coming to work. Sometimes you look outside on the balcony, they're out there on their own, working out, going through drills. So I'm excited about having them. And they're definitely going to be a major plus for us this year.
Big picture, how do you feel the defense in general has taken to the changes you've made system-wise and maybe your tone and the way you coach?
Well, I think we have a variety of how we go about trying to attack the defense, particularly being aggressive has not always been, playing man-to-man, as you saw last year a lot, playing with our backs to the ball. I think they probably had total about maybe 10 takeaways last year, maybe 5 interceptions. I can't recall, but we had an opportunity this year in spring to get 38, and that was great because, guys are understanding how to play with their number one weapon, which are their eyes, and still being aggressive and trying to get after the quarterback. So we're going to mix it up a lot. It's all depending on who we're playing based off the scheme. We want to incorporate that particular week, but we're not going to sit back. We're going to be aggressive in what we're doing and trying to set the tone on the defensive side of the ball.
Takeaway is a big theme in every defensive meeting room all the time.
It is. It's not only taking the ball away, but it's the mindset of trying to score on defense. That has always been the nature of this system wherever I've been, and the mindset I've been around. Lovie Smith at Chicago, we led the league in takeaways. In Carolina, we led the league in takeaways. So that is my mindset, has always been, and those guys understand that, and we put a point of emphasis each and every day on that.
They don't just happen, right? It's not luck.
No, it doesn't. A lot of things have to go into play, particularly again with the D-line creating pressure up front. Trying to make the quarterback make a quick decision. Linebackers getting their drops, being in the right spot, trying to elevate the throw, and we're taking any way we can. Tips and overthrows, we love them.
Does anything surprise you about coming back to the college games since you returned here?
It's not so much about the surprise. The tempo is definitely something that's been different, and I've been able to experience that this spring going against our offense. They do a great job of really, picking up the pace, putting their defense on their heels, and allowing us having to respond to that. So that's really the biggest thing with me, but we've been able to adapt to that and adjust, so it's been great.
Just with the new NIL stuff, is anything changed with the way your players act or anything, with all the off-the-field stuff going on?
It hasn't, and to be honest, it's sort of like a separate entity. I'm glad it's there. It's an opportunity for them, but our mindset as coaches is still, to be able to coach and whatnot. I haven't seen any distractions from our players at all.
I remember when Martez said something in the spring about, if I don't understand it, we got bigger problems when it comes to the play calling. Just how do you rate the guys' understanding of the scheme you put in now when Martez is that confident? 6 weeks after you get here, they say, if I don't understand what's going on, there's something bigger going on.
I think Martez knows that he's a pretty smart guy, and he picks up things fairly quickly. So I think in regards to that, he's saying that, he definitely needs to get it to make sure everybody else understands it, because he does a great job of leading those guys on the back end. We try to simplify everything that we do, and we try to have a lot of carryover in each call, particularly with me not coming in trying to have these guys adjust to what I want. I understand the big picture, 20-hour rule, school, study hall, etc. So we want to make things simple, all right, to where and when I say simple, it doesn't mean that it's not complex where it's not going to create problems, but I want those guys to play fast and not have to think a lot. So that's the key thing with us. So they picked it up and have no problem really going out and executing the defense.
That'll do it for today. Thanks to our SportsBeat KC production staff of Derek Donovan, Beth Welsh, Monty Davis, Jeff Rosen, Chris Pickett, and Savannah Smith. Tip of the cap to Briar Napier for stopping by and talking Mizzou Links to his stories and to other stories on the Missouri Tigers can be found in the show notes and on kansascity.com. Hey, we have another deal for you. You can subscribe to Sports Pass for 99 cents a month. That's right, 99 pennies a month. Sports Pass is the online version of the Star's sports section. You get all the stories that appear in the print editions of the Star, plus additional stories that appear only on the website, and of course, they appear first on kansascity.com. After 3 months, it auto-renews at $5.99 a month unless you cancel. And it's a great time to subscribe. Read about what's going on with the Chiefs at training camp as they prepare for their first preseason game on Saturday, the Royals, the colleges, our soccer teams, and more. How do you get it? You go to kansascity.com/sportspass2020. That's kansascity.com/sportspass2020. You want more than just sports coverage? Check out the entire Kansas City Star product. Sports news, features, commentary, and analysis, the whole thing. You get all the stories written by my talented colleagues, plus additional national news, sports, features, and business coverage with the e-edition. The details for all of these deals can be found at account.kansascity.com/subscribe. And if you're having trouble hunting down any of those offers, send me an email, bkerkhoff@kcstar.com, and I'll get you to the right place. So whether it's the Sports Pass or the full subscription, you're getting and supporting the best sports and news coverage in Kansas City and helping us produce programs like SportsBeat KC. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back on Tuesday with another episode.